Good morning, my lovely creative friends. It's Saturday, the 4th of April, a beautiful sunny day here in Gin, and it is also Easter Saturday, so I really hope you're enjoying your Easter break. Hi, this is Terry from The Craft Curator. Well, I've had a really busy week this week. I have been doing a lot of crafts, and I'm going to show what I've been doing. So it's really a show and tell, and I hope that you enjoy this video. Okay, so as it's Easter, normally I buy Easter chocolate, bunnies, eggs for the children that live here in Western Australia. The children overseas also receive some money so that they can buy Easter gifts for themselves and obviously the Eastern states. So I'm going to show you what I did some crocheting of for the very young children. Now the youngest Easton is, oh gosh, I think he's about nearly 18 months old, I'm not so sure, and then Alyssa has a foster baby at the moment that she has for a couple of months, so obviously they get included too. So what I'm going to show you first is the Easter bunnies that I crocheted for them. Obviously I've put them a fair way away, so I have to reach for them. Okay, so this is for Cora. She's the little foster girl that Alyssa has. So it's actually an egg shaped bunny. I really enjoyed doing this, and I didn't have to buy any material for it because luckily I have Spotlight in my yarn cupboard. And this one is for Easton, so you can sort of flick their ears around and make them look really cute. They don't have arms because they're an egg, but they do have feet to keep them stable. And as I said, I was really fortunate that I didn't have to buy any yarn to do this. So, I must show you the back. Look at that gorgeous little fluffy tail. I actually had some white fluffy yarn to do that with, and of course Cora's has a fluffy tail too. Okay, so that was that. Then I decided that I had to go and pick up some boxes of essentials, and I realised when I took the things out of the boxes that they actually would make great things to put my t-shirts in, folded of course, onto shelving that I have in my built-in robes that don't really have sides. So I thought, oh, maybe these would be really good. So once again, being me, I have to move over to get them, because if I'd had them on the floor it probably would have made it easier, but that's too sensible. So the first one I did, I really went to town on. I even made bias for around the edging, and so this is it, and it's been fully covered all the way around, and I have bias around the edging, and of course I just used, material that I had that I wasn't really going to make a lot of things with, and I thought, well, use it. You've got to use it. If you've got something, use it. And my t-shirts fit perfectly into this, so I'm really pleased with the outcome of that. And it was just a cardboard box that these items were put in. Obviously you could pull the box apart, and it was very like what you would stack in shelving for display. And then I had another one, and I thought, well, this one would be really good for my singlets. And also, if I will get more in the future, and I thought, well, there are t-shirts that I use in winter and shirts with long sleeves that I use in winter. So if I made 4 of them, I could bring to the front the ones that I'm using and put to the back the ones that I'm not. So I've got a range for winter or summer. So this is the other one I made. This one I didn't actually use any binding on because it's the white glue that, kids glue, whatever. I just thought if I use enough glue, that'll keep the edges down, which is what I did. So then I also went to our local op shop. And at our local op shop, which is, we have two. We have one in Gin called the, oh my goodness, here we go. The brain's failing me. I can't remember, but there's one in Gin and it's quite a good one. I didn't go to that one. I actually went to the one in Bindoon, and I thought, I have heard a lot because I like just, well, I haven't started yet, but I want to start what's called slow stitching. It's basically where you just stitch lots of different things together and make a collage, and then you can turn it into different things. And I thought, I'd really like to do that. That would be a good craft to do for this year. So I'll just show you some of the things I got, and keeping in mind that these op shops are country op shops, so the prices are really, really decent, and I got some really, really lovely things that I could use. So they're a little bit plainer than I would have liked. I would have liked a bit more embroidery, but it doesn't really matter because it's linen and cotton, and I can use bits and pieces of it to do the slow stitching, which I'll probably start this week, and then I'll show you in my next video. So it's just basically little doilies that have got some embroidery on. This one's got a bit of embroidery on that I could cut out and use in slow stitching. This one you could just put and then, do other things around the front of it. And this is what's called filet crochet, and that is just so beautiful. I can use that as well. And then these two with crocheting edges around them. And then this one's really, really sweet. I really wouldn't mind embroidering the little white round bits because I feel they look very like cherries, and that would make a really lovely part of a collage. Some plain ones, which I can just do something with. And then this one's really, really sweet. It actually says a cup of tea. And that would be lovely as part of a collage too. This one is actually linen, which is, beautiful. And it's got tiny little embroidery on. Somebody obviously started and thought, don't want to finish that. Anyway, lucky me, I managed to pick it up from the Bindoon op shop. That one's got some embroidery on. This is actually, I'd say, embroidered on machine. But as I have an embroidery machine, I could do the plain ones. This one would have some lovely cutouts. So, and then there's this one, which is linen as well. And I wasn't really into the pattern, but, you can use bits of it for collage. Now, the reason I brought up about my slow stitching is because I also do journaling. And I found a few journaling pages that I'd done a while ago, but I hadn't actually put them into a cover. And I thought, well, if I did some slow stitching, I could use that as the cover for this journal. So I'm just going to show you the pages that I had done in this journal. And they've got, all sorts of bits and pieces that you can pull out and write on the back of their tags. And it hadn't been sewn together yet. So I think this one actually has, does it have a flap? No. Oops, you can tell I haven't sewn it together yet, but I just thought, I'm glad I found it because, I can put it together and make a really lovely journal out of it. I'll just bring up the next page, which is, pulled it apart. I actually bought these pages off Etsy from a lady that designs the pages. And the little butterfly there is done with a paper clip, which I really like. And then the next page, that's got a few more tags that can be pulled out of the sides to be written on. And I've used some just pieces of satin for the pulling out sections. Now this one's quite a lovely one. This is actually done with a old window envelope, and this actually is quite sweet because not only does it have the tag that you can pull out and you can see a bit of it through the window, and then you can lift it up, and on this page it also has some more tags. Now I thought if I did a slow stitch cover for this journal and put it all together, and there's some more pages that I can do some more ephemera on and put it all together, that would make such a lovely piece of journal, a lovely journal, which could be gifted, and I think whoever I gift it to would appreciate it. And here's another one that I'd started, which is just done with a window envelope, a larger one, and I'll turn that into a piece of ephemera. I can never ever say that word right, honestly. Also, when I was, just hunting around looking for things that I should really finish, I actually found a beautiful embroidery and applique piece of work that I'd done and had intended to make a wall hanging out of. But now I'm thinking I've actually done some pieces to go around it, like patchwork pieces to go around it. And when I saw it, I just thought, this is perfect for me. And I will finish it. I definitely will. In fact, what it would make would be a brilliant cover for a photo album. I just thought of that, so I think time to reveal. So I don't know if you can see it totally. It might be a little bit more harder. But the reason that I was drawn to it, it does say, a mother's pockets are filled with love. And the other reason I was drawn to it, I'll just bring it in a bit closer and see if you can see, it actually has 6 babies in it. So can you see those 6 babies? So there's 4 in pockets and 2 in a bundle at the edge. Now, my intention, I hope you can see them really, really well. I see that as Evan and Annalise. And then the other 4 are the older 4 children. So I thought, yeah, I think that really would make a brilliant cover for a photo album. And I have started one photo album and covered it. And I'm trying to scrapbook my baby's photos. But this would be brilliant for those really, really special photos that you want your children to see. So I think that's what I'm going to end up doing with that. So that was the other piece that I did. Now, when I was also in Bindoon, we are very, very fortunate to have a lovely little gift shop there. I think it's called the Country Store. And they have lots of things that I've bought in the past. So I always like to, I think I've actually sent a couple of them to my grandchildren in Europe. And they've always got some very, very interesting and unique pieces. And one thing that I found was from a company called Scattered Seed Company, and it's actually a magnetic needle minder. Now, I might just take that out because the plastic is making it harder to see. But I've gifted one, and I'm sure that will get used. And I bought 3, and I kept 2 for myself because I like to have, my embroidery cart will have one, and my slow stitching will have one, because they're sort of like 2 different areas that I keep them in. And I just thought, I'll show you this one. It is just so, so cute. And basically it's a magnet on the back. So I don't know if you can see. So you put the back magnet behind the thing, and then this is only a really big needle. I don't know if you can see that there. Maybe if I bring the... So I've got it just here, and then the needle magnetizes onto it, which is brilliant for me. I'm shocking with needles. I lose them all over the place. That's why basically when I'm doing needlework, I I think I've lost it. I found it. That's good. Basically doing needlework, I end up losing needles in couches and different things like that. So, and that's a bit dangerous for the dogs, a bit dangerous for Glenn, though he doesn't actually sit on my seat, so that's not too bad. So what else has been happening here at the Craft Curator? Been in the garden. I've got all my seeds into egg cartons for when they become seedlings. I'll just be able to break them up and put them with the egg carton in my gardening beds, which for me are raised. They're great. And, you know, they're sort of lots of other different things. Like I said, we had that big storm, but it didn't come. We didn't get a big storm, but it gave me the opportunity to clean up the outdoor area. So now the outdoor area is looking spick and span. And I'm just trying to think. It's because I've been so busy doing things and finding things, and I'd like to find a few more things that I've put away, but they're sort of in secret places, and I can't remember where the secret place is, but that's pretty typical of me, so that's fine. I'm sure it'll turn up when I don't need it. I did a while ago, and I thought this was a good idea to show actually, because if anybody is doing journaling or thinking of journaling, one thing I found with journaling is that when I'm doing pages for a journal, I need to keep them somewhere that I can see the page that I've done, or if I'm continuing to do a page. You know, I really try to be as organised as I can, but that doesn't always happen. And I'll just grab a page because that will help me explain what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm looking for. That's not what I'm looking, oh here, this is what I'm looking for. So basically I showed you that envelope that I was going to finish, and that's what I'm looking for. No, that's, how can things disappear so easily when they're on a desk in front of you? It's maddening. Oh, it's me. It really is. I don't get it. Okay, so basically I've sewed this and I've collaged on the front. So it's basically a journal page keeper, so that if I'm halfway through a page, I want to be able to find that page and pull it out and finish it. And I've made a few pages with Ziploc bags so that I can just slide them in. These pages, unfortunately, are a bit big. It's more for the smaller journals that I make, which I like to make. But I can show you anyway what I mean. So basically this is the booklet that I made for myself, and you can see I've used some sewing stitches to actually hold it together. And then when you open it, you'll see there is a lot of zip bags. And those zip bags are actually sewn with a piece of white paper so that I can have 1 page, 2 pages, and so on. I think it goes up to about 5, 6 pages. I haven't actually done them all, so that'd be 2, 4, 6, 8 pages. So I really wouldn't want to be doing more than 8 pages at a time. So basically what I do is I have an incomplete page, and I would unzip. This is going to be fun, isn't it, one-handed? I'd unzip the Ziploc bag. I will unzip the Ziploc bag and open it up. I think I unzipped it. I can never tell. No, I think I zipped it up. I can never ever tell. Oh, here we go. It's unzipped now. So basically I have 2 pockets that I can slide. This is good. Slide the unfinished pages into, and just make sure. And I also put in other embellishments that I may want to put on that page. And the fact that it's separated, it gives me one side two sides to use for when I'm contemplating and looking for emperor. Gosh, I do not like that word, and that word doesn't like me. Or bits and pieces that you use with your, all those little bits and pieces that you use when you're making a journal. So yeah, I have a few ideas for some journals apart from this one that I want to use for my slow stitching to make a cover for that. So, do you know, I'd be really interested to know what you're making, what you do with your creative craft. You know, it's one of those things that I find to know what others are doing would be great, because, you know, it's inspirational. It's very satisfying to know that other people are, you know, out there in the world doing crafts too, because for me, that means I am creating, I'm using my hands, I'm using my brain, and I find that great for me. And I'm hoping that people that watch my page are also creative and like to have different ideas with different things that they'd like to do in the future. So also when I was shopping at Bindoon, we have an IGA over there. We have one in Gin too, but it's very, very small. It's more like a service station IGA. It's very, very small. I found these. They're actually cookie cutters, and I thought they would be great for getting shapes to do applique with, because I'm not the greatest drawer in the world, and these would give me some really good shapes for using with my slow stitching when I'd like to cut out pieces of material and things like that. So they came in they weren't very expensive. They came like that with lots of different sizes for cookies. So this week, when I was over in Bindoon, not only did I buy my doilies, and I picked up some really, really lovely hessian too, which I'd like to use with my bag making, I saw these. Now, they had a whole selection of them. They have stars. They have, I don't think they had hexagons. I think they may have had some animal shapes, I'm not sure, but, you know, I could have gone, oh, get them all at once, Terry, and then I thought, no, just, you know, budget yourself out, Terry. You've got a lot in your craft rooms, so let's see how useful these are, and then if you find these useful for your slow stitching or embroidery or applique or whatever I'm doing, I'll buy the other shapes. So that's just about been my week. I hope to have a busy week next week. Like I said, I'd like to do that slow stitching and show you my progress with that. And of course, it being Easter, we will get to see some of our grandchildren on Monday, and our children and their partners. So that's really going to be lovely, because it has been a while since I last saw them. Are my glasses crooked on my head, or is it the camera? I don't know. It's sort of, yeah. Anyway, I think I found the problem with putting my videos up. I think my actual video editor is creating the black sides to my video. So I won't be editing this one to see how it turns out on the YouTube page, especially if somebody's watching it on a television or an iPad. You don't really want me to look smaller and have a smaller visual area. So I'm going to just put this straight onto YouTube, warts and all, and see if it is my video editor that is making the black around my screen. Got to try these things. I mean, and if I find it's my video editor, that'll be sad, because that video editor comes in handy for a lot of things, especially if I like putting bits and pieces up on the screen or correcting my wording or, you know, different things when you're recording. I'm going to leave it at that. I really hope you have a fantastic Easter break. Be safe, be happy, let the sun shine from your heart, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.